It's time for Around the Ozarks Sports Scene, brought to you by Colton Steakhouse, Thompson Sales, and Deadeye Gun and Pawn in Sparta. Here's your host, Scott Purrier.
Welcome into another edition of Around the Ozarks Sports Scene. I am Scott Purrier. As always, big thank you to you for tuning in this week. We're going to talk some Drury baseball. I spent some of my best years of my life over at Drury University from 2005 to 2016, and one of the highlights of my time there was one of the most remarkable stories, I think, in college sports, even still today, how a first-year Drury baseball program picked for last in the conference with a bunch of guys who, for the most part, were playing their first college season, except for one of our guests here, came together and a team actually won the conference tournament, won 33 games, and went on to the NCAA Tournament, won a couple of games there as well. And of course, the head coach is Mark Stratton, who picked these guys, assisted by Byron Hagler and Scott Nasby. But joining me tonight are two of the guys that were mainstays on that program and that team that first year in 2007. Tony Lewis was a senior first baseman, a captain. He was a one-year transfer from Missouri State, played his high school ball at Glendale High School, had a great career there. And then Harrison Waters, I believe, was a freshman that year for the Panthers out of Republic, Missouri, a pitcher and an outfielder, and wanted to bring these guys in 20 years later and talk about some of the memories of that great run. Tony and Harry, thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks, Scott. We're excited.
And we've already established, Tony, that it is 20 years. You know, we're not going to count out the math there, but this is the 20th anniversary of that 2007 season. I know Coach Nasby's got an alumni day this Saturday at the home game against Rockhurst, kind of honoring some of the guys who come back, and especially that first team. It'd be kind of special for both of you guys to see some of those guys maybe for the first time in a while, or do you guys kind of stay in contact and stay together for the most part?
Yeah, I would say, you know, we have little different text groups on the side that we've definitely been keeping in contact with some people over the last 2 decades that were a part of that team. But just as life naturally happens, there are people that we aren't in constant contact with that were on that team. And I'm excited to see some of those team members this weekend and learn about them and also, you know, how they are as adults in their professional lives and how their families may have grown. So I'm excited to see some people that I have not connected with in quite some time for sure.
Now you two stay in close contact because I believe, Tony, you founded your Grip and Rip baseball adult summer. I guess it's a fall baseball league now. And Harrison, are you still playing? I know you do a lot of the marketing work for Tony.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I still got it 20 years later. I'm going to do this until I can't run anymore. I've got little ones that need to see me, you know, staying active and setting a good example for them. So I'm absolutely going to keep playing.
Hey, Tony, you're a bank president now, Bank of Missouri in town, and Harrison, you work for Associated Electric, doing a great job in their marketing communications department over there. 20 years later, do you guys still think there are things you took away from Drury baseball that have made you successful in what you're doing now in everyday life and supporting your families? Tony, we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say it now, and I'd say it at the very end of that season. I had a feeling that was probably one of the greatest baseball teams I'd ever played with. And I would say that now. Those guys are still very special to me. I think about a lot of the moments in that year. And it was constantly David slaying Goliath. It seemed like every single weekend. Every weekend it felt like it was very epic. And what we did was only had happened 3 times in NCAA history to win our own respective conference, being a first-year team in Division II baseball. And what was just amazing about it is a lot of the freshmen on this team, Harry being one of those freshmen, and I was an incoming senior. I don't think they realized, the younger guys in that team knew what they were doing by winning baseball series after baseball series against these universities with fully grown, trained college athletes who were juniors and seniors. And I'll say it now, that whole entire season was done with wooden bats. And so now you have high school kids who haven't fully developed trying to swing wood, who had hard enough time getting it out of the infield, it would feel like. But we found a way to win, and they just didn't really realize how special they had it. That the team was just so unique and different because we all were rooting for each other every single game. And I had been a part of some teams, collegiately and professionally, where you don't have that camaraderie and you don't have people pulling for the same cause. You actually have some guys rooting for people to do bad or injure themselves so you can get an opportunity. But that team was full of selfless individuals, and you can't replicate that. You have to have a lot of certain players in place, starting with coaching all the way down to role players that were on that bench that maybe didn't even see the field much, but everyone had a role and everyone understood it, and everyone was so happy for everyone's success. And I would say that still people that were on that team still root for everyone's success in our professional lives today. So I'm very excited to see my brothers this weekend for sure.
Tony, one of you, we got some feedback that just popped up in the middle of it. Did one of you turn a speaker on or anything, or listening to it?
I got it to work. We're good now. Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear it
you
now.
work in communications and video, for God's sake. Can we not mess up
I troubleshooted it. Yeah.
It is your job. It's what you do Monday through Friday.
Fix it on the fly.
Yeah, there you go. I always got to be putting out fires. But Harry, how much of that, and of course his name's Harrison, but everybody knows him as Harry. Probably not at Associated Electric. You're Harrison.
No,
there,
yeah.
Right. But after hours, he's Harry. Did you take away things from that baseball season that you still apply in your everyday business acumen today?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Tony said, I mean, you don't realize how much work is also like your teammates, right? Your coworkers, your bosses, your coach, and like Tony said, winning as a team, losing as a team, and, being there for everybody. Tony sends one text out to all of our group, and I feel like I was at a game tonight, and then 5 minutes later, we've got 35 text messages, and they'll hound you for like, where are you at? What's going on? And so, yeah, it like I said, it really set, we were all a lot of local boys too, so it set a lot of us up to be close. Like a lot of us still live here. And then Tony starting a baseball league. It's getting sad though. We're starting to fade away. Like guys are like, I can't pull a hammy. My job's too important. And but we all still kind of stick together. I'd like to see some more of the Drury guys come out and play a little bit of ball. But yeah, to your point, yeah, baseball teaches more life lessons than probably school. For any kids watching, stay in school, but really, like, you can't beat the teamwork, sportsmanship, the competitive fire, especially that team for sure.
So how did it all start? I know Coach Stratton can talk. He could talk to a wall and convince it to do something. Tony, you were at Missouri State. You'd gone over there from Glendale. Harrison, you're coming out of high school. Kind of take us back to that first talk with Stratton when he said, "Hey, we're putting together a baseball team at Drury, and I want you to come play." Tony, you first.
Well, by the time that I committed to come over to Drury, a lot of the team was already formed. Stratton and Hagler had recruited a lot of high school studs, and they were primarily focused on freshmen, high school seniors, incoming freshmen into college. He had recruited some really good JUCO transfers, one being a fellow Drury Hall of Fame member, Justin Skinner, from Crowder College, and then also pulling Ricky Meinhold over, and Blake Evans, actually a good elementary school of mine, was a great pitcher in high school. Tried out with me over at SMS in Missouri State. And at that point, he was done playing college baseball until Stratton gave him the call. Now, for me, I was probably one of the last ones to be formed on that team because I had played my entire junior season at Missouri State. And just like in college baseball, you can kind of see the writing on the wall where you're going to kind of be placed into the next season. And I saw a better opportunity in playing baseball every single day, which is what I wanted to do, to play for my old coach. And so I did the transfer process. It was pretty easy back then. But yeah, that was I was one of the last members to be on that team. I bet Harrison has a different story.
Yeah, and we're still getting that feedback. Harrison, is that still you or is that Tony?
It's all Tony.
Okay, Tony, whatever you got going there with the feedback, you're gonna have to, use a speaker. That are you trying to listen through headphones or?
Yeah, I'm listening.
It's probably the sound of his laptop running. It's on. He's got to put some gas in it.
That Commodore 64 from still using it.
Okay,
Harrison,
what about now? I think I'm good
better.
now.
Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay, Harry. You're coming out of Republic High School, and talk about your talk with Stratton, how that went. What were you looking at for options?
It totally different story than Tony. It was like Tony said, it was like they're hunting down seniors, and I was, thought I was an unstoppable high schooler. So, anything I could do to, I was going around and looking at some other schools, and really, those recruiting trips were fun. But a lot of coaches aren't salesmen, and Coach Stratton was just awesome. He's like, put my parents in the front of the golf cart, put me in the back, I'm like looking out, he's driving me around campus, and he's just the larger than life, still is. He's like, Harry, someday all this will be yours kind of talk. And, I think he even paid some girls to be walking down the sidewalk and said my name. I mean, the whole shebang. Man, I was hook, line, and sinker. It was just, he said, you're gonna have the opportunity to play some outfield every day and pitch on the weekends kind of thing. And there's no other school that would have given me the opportunity. And I still, did well in school, and I knew that it's falling back on a Drury education would be awesome. And I wouldn't say I was that much of a realist, but at the same time, I saw something pretty good going on. I had mixed feedback on what I should do, but it was exciting to go to be the first to be an inaugural team. There's something about that, and to jump in immediately and play. I don't think I would have done too well on the bench for a few years, even at a bigger school or anything. And so it was a perfect fit for me. But Coach, man, he, like I said, it was an awesome pitch. And after hearing that, even my parents were like, I mean, how could you turn that down? So I was part of that first recruiting class 20 years ago now.
Where would you have gone if Drury not added baseball?
That's a great question. I don't know. I went to a lot of workouts and talked with Missouri State, and Coach Gutton was really nice to say, hey, maybe a bullpen pitcher or something like that, and who knows how much of the field you'd see. Talked with a lot of JUCOs, and so I probably would have gone the JUCO route and grinded through it, and who knows what would have turned out. But I think the Lord works in very mysterious ways, and that right there, that was my calling. That was from Him for sure.
I know neither one of you could have been just terribly excited about going to a wood bat league and that type of deal, because I mean, even back in your day, it was aluminum or whatever the metal of choice was. Wood bat hitting is hard. I mean, is that something that you guys were kind of a little hesitant about at all, Tony?
I had played 2 or 3 different collegiate summer leagues in the Great Lakes League in Ohio and also the Jayhawk League in Kansas. So I was used to I was fine with it. I actually really enjoy hitting with wood, and I still enjoy hitting with wood. I was concerned about the younger guys on the team being able to muscle up against collegiate velocity and then also hitting the gaps and hitting the doubles. I was comfortable with wood, but I was concerned with a lot of the other guys.
Didn't it make you feel better, Harry? He thought basically you couldn't hit with a wood bat.
Yeah, well, I showed him, and like I said, we wouldn't be having this talk if I didn't put that ball 1 inch over that wall, baby.
Yeah,
still
so Harry has one of the greatest hits of all time that I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, and that would be the tournament opening win over Bellarmine, right, at Sauget, Illinois, where the right center field fence was 298, and Harry hit it 299.
If that.
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't have a bomb that year, did you?
That was his first. That was his only home run.
I mean, the scene. The scene is it in like Billy Madison where Billy grabs that kid's face and starts shaking it like, don't ever go up. Nasby, when I was rounding first and that ball hit the top of the fence and went over, he like grabbed me. He was like, "You did it." And there's some choice words in between, but you really did it. And I was like, what did I do? I was just like lost my mind. I come around in first base. Our whole team, our whole season, our pitchers weren't in very many bullpen opportunities in the outfield, but they were in the bullpen in the outfield, and they're just sprinting in. And I'm looking over, I'm getting the chills just talking about it. And I look over to home, and Tony's just yelling something in a different language, like, and he was saying, "Throw your helmet." And it was so funny. It was such a new team. We had like unbranded helmets, they were just the old donuts that you found at Fun Acre. And I still see that photo that you took, Scott. It's still out here in my studio, and I see it all the time. And my kids are like, "Where are you in that, Dad?" And I'm like, "You can't see me. I'm under the dog pile." I'll never forget it. It's if I always say it, if I wasn't married and had kids, it'd be the best day of my life.
Now, the whole thing starts on a very cold and gray day on February 11th, 2007, I think, when Truman State came to town.
Yeah.
And this is an established program, not a very good one at the time, but still it was somebody that had been playing college baseball. And you guys win 10-0 in that first ever game. And there was a lot of pomp and circumstance. I mean, as you would expect from our first game. Do you guys remember much about that day?
It was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to Shoney's for like a team
ate breakfast right before that. Yep.
And we did our, we had in baseball, we're very superstitious. And so we had our team talk, and we had our team get together. And I remember being announced on the field and sitting at Metter, where my older brother had actually played SMS ball.
Yeah.
And countless Old American Legion games on that historic ballpark. Probably still, no, not anymore. They used to be some of the worst hops you'd ever see.
Yeah.
Not anymore with the turf, but
fixes that pretty quickly. Yeah.
But that was fun.
What point did you guys? I'm still hearing that feedback, Tony. I don't know, Harry. Can you help your guy?
Yeah, I can't fix his computer.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll just tell you this: what they didn't know what was coming was we had the sprinkler lines were just put in the outfield. They didn't know how to play our sprinkler lines. You literally, the sprinklers in the outfield cut across laterally and all, across the outfield. And I mean, there were full humps that were not smoothed out yet. And so like you had to play the hops in the outfield as if it was Fun Acre. And so, the season kind of snuck up on us to start, and that field was not ready. And we played to our advantage, but I was excited though, because I think any of my records that I had got taken away about a year, if not the following year after I graduated or anything. But you can't take away that first hit and that first run.
Well, now we've lost Tony, so I mean,
he's done.
In the attempt to have him not have an echo feedback on his microphone, now we've lost video. We're going to remove him and then re-add him.
Oh, totally toast.
Yeah. There we go. Let's see if we got anybody. There you go, Tony. Tony, quit messing with things. Just take your hand off the phone, put them down by your side. Don't touch anything.
All right, I good.
Right now we're looking at a big, large left index finger when you've got it.
Now I lost Scott.
Harry, help your guy here.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, here we go. This team was like most winning teams. I mean, I think back to the Missouri State Bears.
I lost Scott now.
College World Series team, and the personalities they had. And your team was full of personalities. Talk about some of the guys on there that, took a lot of grief and were the guys that took everything loose in the clubhouse. Tony,
Harry, one of my favorite guys is Mike Tatamble, man. He was hilarious, Springfield Catholic product. And Mike was such a great person to have on the team, and he started season off hot. I had an oblique injury, and I was gone for the first couple weeks. And then when I got healthy, I came in, and Mike kind of lost his first base starting role. He DH'd a couple times, but he supported me and the entire team. It was pretty seamless. Am I still echoing?
You're still, it's now. This is a disaster. I don't know. Gary, is he trying to listen? What, Tony? How are you listening? How are you consuming audio from Harry?
It's because we're getting too old to do this. That's where Tony's still part of that group. Like, could you guys hear me? Is everything okay on there?
Yeah.
I don't know how this is echoing. How is this not echoing? It's fine.
You're listening to some kind of what? Are you listening to your computer or your phone? What do you use?
I'm using my phone. Do you want me to get my computer?
Take your earplugs out.
Yeah.
I did.
That's what we're getting. Turn them off.
How about now?
I'm still going to echo.
I don't know why we have an echo. This is podcast gold, though. I can tell you that. Yeah. Harry, tell us about some of the characters on the team that you saw.
Man, he's already knocked off to Tamble. Who else was the characters?
CT.
Goose took a lot of heat from you guys, didn't he?
Yeah, because Goose was just like, Goose just got it done. Goose, like the second that you just like joke with him about, you'd hear his walk-up song for the first time, and it was just like Fly Away, and you're just like, what is he playing up there? And then he'd get up there and drop a hammer, and you're like, did he just hit a 400-foot homer? And he just always, he was an easy target. We all love good joking with Goose. He's a good dude, yeah, he got a lot of heat, but I mean, we all had a fun time. We just gelled really well. Like Tony said, like it was the only team I ever got together with where everyone was like, hey, we're going to the movies. Everyone want to go. And all of a sudden, like 40 guys would go to the movies. I mean, I just never had that anywhere else. We didn't have guys that were all wanting to hang out every single night. It was just, I think Carl Techmeyer he ran the bullpen. Carl was he was humoring the bullpen, especially because Coach Stratton ate it up. Carl, like, he ended up going submarine. We had a couple pitching clinics and whatever, and he needed to, swerve that ball just a little bit more. And all of a sudden, he became Diced T. I mean, I'll just never forget it. He just went from like, and it was effective. The guys really struggled hitting off of that. And then Coach just ate up that Diced T stuff. I mean, there was iced tea jokes and diced tea jokes and, everything in between. But I mean, I'll just never forget, man, Chip Stratton came out to one practice, and Coach is like, Chip, get up there and have an IB or something. And Carl was throwing like a bullpen or maybe inner squad or something like that. And if Chip didn't hit one into that doggone pool out behind Metter, and I mean, we still send jokes about it. I mean, like, clear the pool, watch out. And Stratton was pumped. I mean, he literally hit a 450-foot shot of Carl. And we're just like, where did Chip come from? And just, I mean, he might not have pimped it, but boy, it looked great. And from that moment on, Carl was done for. So yeah, no, it was awesome. But who else, Tony?
Sam Pirtle, the fireman.
Yeah. We had a lot of dude. He
Didn't
came
play,
in. Shut some
they
games
call
in.
him the fireman when he came in, or not? When that is entrance song when he pitched.
Oh yeah. He had a great closing year that year, and it was so bad. The games got really tense that he actually developed hives in the championship series because it was getting that serious. And Harry's dramatic walk-off was only game one.
Yeah.
We had dramatic win after dramatic win after that, including Skinner's walk-off double off the wall. And then also the 3 strikeouts to win the entire championship from him, throwing 90 plus. That it was just an epic weekend.
Man, when they brought Skinner in for that, I'm standing out in center field. Tony's over at first, bases loaded, no outs, and then we've got to lose twice, so we have to win this game because we just, we didn't have a lot of arms past that, like we had used everything up. And I'm standing out center field, and Skinner gets the first one, and he was juiced up. I mean, that he was humming some balls. I'll never forget because I was pretty laid back and I didn't get too nervous, but I definitely got nervous those last two strikeouts. And I'll never forget, I'm running through my head like, okay, base hit, I'm doing this, double to the gap, I'm doing that. And Skinner lets that last pitch go, and it's like halfway to the plate. And I'm not kidding you. Tony's got his glove like mid thrown up in the air. I mean, Tony is chucking his glove to celebrate. And if it line drive at Tony, he's got to catch that thing barehanded. He was so jacked up and Skinner struck him out, but I'm standing in center field, not even thinking about what my celebration's going to be. Tony's already like popping a cork, They're like throwing it up in the air. And man, I'll just never forget it. We were just too young and dumb to know like how big of a deal that was. I
Yeah.
mean, don't even get me started about regionals,
Well, and you guys played, even though you were a very loose bunch, obviously, you guys also played the entire year with kind of a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, didn't you? I mean, you were picked for last in the conference. Tony, you were the senior captain, you and Mike York, and you guys just decided that last wasn't going to happen, right?
Yeah, I'm afraid to talk now. I'm going to get made fun
Oh, you're
of.
good now. Just don't touch anything. Okay? Get your hands away from the phone and the screen and just keep talking.
Okay, here we go.
This is the old timers group here on the Drury.
Back in Golden Corral. All right.
This was back when CC's Pizza existed.
No, it was we didn't really know that it was getting serious until we were midway through the season and we were still sitting in first place in league play.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it kind of was setting in with the guys that we actually had a pretty good, decent chance to have a run at it, I think we kind of got in our heads and we slid and we started kind of losing some games because we entered the tournament as the third seed. And our only shot to make it into the regionals was to win the whole thing. And when we won that game and you took an epic picture, and you know what picture that is, and then that bus ride home, I was just thinking that I hope that these freshmen get this feeling like that I'm feeling, but I also knew it's a once in a lifetime thing. I didn't want to say to him that, like, guys, this was probably, hopefully not your pinnacle because you're just starting your collegiate careers, but I knew that's insanely tough to replicate what we did, and it's amazing, and it's still thought about 20 years later that we're talking about this, and the feelings are not even the same, but also more because now we're in our 40s. I'm in my 40s. These guys are probably in their 30s. We're kind of realizing, oh my gosh, that was actually very, very cool what we did as kids, what it feels like as college kids. So it was such a fantastic year, man.
You guys had great chemistry in the team, obviously a great mix of older guys like you and Mike and all those freshmen and Ricky Meinhold and just so many different personalities that came together. But what about that combination of Stratton, Byron Hagler, and Nasby? You couldn't have three more different personalities there. But the wit, with all three of them was a little bit different. But that was a good mesh, too, with those three, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the sayings amongst the three of them, they're like so totally different. And Tony, at that point, being a captain, was already had sayings of his own. Like he already knew how to pester the opposing team, the opposing pitcher, and all that. And then Stratton, he's throwing out lines that like make you think because it's like you have no clue. And Hagler is not much better. He had these one-liner zingers, and then Nasby's cutting his teeth and getting on to us. And he'd been in some really big games before with Missouri State, and so it was pretty dynamic, and it was interesting too to see the shift amongst them as well. I mean, all we do is focus on how we played as a team, but like we didn't even think about the fact and like don't talk about it much about how all the coaches had to shift everything that they were doing too. There were amazing and Hall of Fame high school coaches, and then NASB being a grad assistant, I mean, how different the college environment was. And like you mentioned about Woodbat, I mean, every single thing, was a first and was unknown. But I think that's what made it so special. But yeah, no, the personalities, they were,
It was a
you couldn't
perfect
beat it with a hickory
culmination.
switch.
Yeah,
Tony, you spent more time around Stratton than anybody because you played high school ball for him. What are some of your favorite Strattonisms that you can recall?
Oh, have bat will play.
Yeah.
Couple three things. Couple three things is I still use couple three things. You had bat will play. What else we got? You're slower than a herd. Run faster than a herd of turtles, I think is one.
Was it man with the pencil or man with the eraser? I can't remember which one.
Man with the pencil, probably. Yeah. And a big eraser sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It took me 2 years to figure out, like, hey, boys, quit playing Buddy Switch 'em.
No.
It's not even podcast appropriate.
And I'll always say, too, that, Harry, your group of guys, that bond that you had that started with that 2007 team, and you guys you had guys from Parkview and Glendale and Kickapoo and pretty much every school in the area that played baseball might have had a representative. Sam was from Greenfield, Pirtle.
Yeah.
And, Wicks was Hillcrest. And so, I think you literally had probably a dozen schools, but you guys came together, as you said, off the field. We started officially a Panthers group a couple years later, but that was really Drury baseball. And you guys getting together down in Weiser Gym in the corner down by the Panthers bench and just giving people hell. And that showed the bond, I think, that you did everything together, didn't you? How important is that to a baseball team for both of you?
More important than talent. Yeah. That stuff will go a whole long way. I mean, it's why the Yankees don't win the World Series every year. It's why, the dollars don't take you the furthest. That bond is more important. I just finished with a Republic team that only had a few of us go play college baseball after, and we could stomp up on a few other teams that, Ozark had an entire starting lineup that was going to play college baseball. But our team was loose and we had fun, and you have to toe the line between having a good time and being a good teammate and a good player. And so, yeah, I know that was everything. I mean, and we were the new team on campus, and we were a big team. So it's one thing you bring in a new team at a college, but to bring in a team that had that many players, it was instantly kind of known there. And we were a little bit proud. We were a little bit cocky, and we had some swagger and stuff. And so that certainly helped us, right? Well, like I said, we didn't know what we didn't know, and weren't going to listen to anyone to say that we're going to get last place. And exactly Tony's point, we didn't know that run was going to be, a Disney movie. I mean, it was just unbelievable. So no, that was huge for sure.
Yeah, Mark Stratton instead of Kurt Russell in Miracle, right? Pretty much same.
I'm telling you, yeah. I was so close on getting on the horn with Brad Pitt to play me or Skinner. I don't know who Tony you were gonna get, but
yeah,
like Chris Farley or something.
Yeah, Michael Pena for sure.
No Pesci, or.
Now, I want to touch on that, Scott, about local talent.
Sure.
Before a lot of the collegiate talent that had been local, it had been outsourced from larger metro areas that played for SMS and Missouri State. You had a couple of your local guys on there, but this was the first really true representation of local talent in Southwest Missouri, which was what that inaugural Drury baseball team was. And I have a really good relationship with Joey Hawkins and the coach of the Bears, and I really like what he's doing with he is recruiting local. One, because out of force of what the NIL is doing for the talent to go to the Power 5 schools. But then I really root for the local guys who are doing well, like Curry Sutherland, who's a Falcon, who's he's probably unknowingly putting more people in the stands just because that he is a local product. And Joey's already started to recruit. There's a third baseman at Glendale that he's wanting, and he tried to get Wyatt Vincent before he got scooped up by the Mets. But to Harry's point, sometimes how a local feel and how guys who know each other, been playing with each other ever since they were kids, that bond is almost more important than trying to piece together but a Yankees type team. So I really enjoy it, seeing colleges focus on their local talent.
Yeah, and kind of wrap things up. Of course, you win in Sauget. You get the championship victory, beat Bellarmine again, which felt good. But then you go to Akron, Ohio for an NCAA 2 regional and a whole new world there, and getting to play teams from the Great Lakes, the GLIAC Intercollegiate Conference, Grand Valley. They came strutting in like they invented baseball, and two tough losses to them. I can still remember those fans that didn't like they liked the alcoholic beverages apparently at the stadium a lot, but they didn't like the fact that you guys had some I don't know, chants or something, but they were on you guys about, hey, the softball tournament's down the road, but it was really about Drury proving that you belonged there, wasn't it, once you got to Akron, because you proved all year that you belonged in the GLVC and you could hit with wood bats and had the pitching match. But this is a whole new world, wasn't it, Akron, Harry?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you should have seen Tony's batting practice with a metal bat that year when we left Metter, and we had to go get brand spanking new metal bats because in the regional we had to switch over.
Yeah,
And Tony was hitting 450-foot homers, and it was like, all right, guys, like if we didn't have enough confidence, let's do it some more. And Sauget was great because there was a lot of guys that was still kind of a stone's throw away. For me, it was almost like a home game because I got a lot of family in St. Louis to have everyone there. And then we go on out to Akron, Ohio, and it's in the city. And you're right, you can see all these teams. They're all out like, I mean, the grown men. I mean, the catcher for Grand Valley that year had a son in the crowd cheering him on, And I'm just like, I'm straight out of high school. And we walk into that stadium and they've got like an Akron game going on and it's kids' day at the ballpark. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
And there's like thousands of little kids and the place was just like so much noise, and it's just like, oh, it's go time, And so, that I don't think we shied away from it one bit. There was a few balls that go our way, a couple things change, and then like I said, we roll into the D2 World Series. I know we could, it's kind of like you look back and just like, if we just had one more shot, if we would just give us one more play, but no, it was magical. And yeah, we deserve to be there. I don't care what anyone said. Like, the game now is all scouting reports. It's all, saber, metrics, everything about it. But we just played good old fashioned baseball and the teams could not stand that we moved guys over, we stole bases and we hit guys in. And we did it the right way. It was the last bit of original baseball that was exciting. And now it's like if every kid's got an Apple Watch and they're, checking out, all the plays on their wrist. We just played good old fashioned baseball.
Tony, to kind of wrap it up, on Saturday, you guys will be there for Alumni Day. And, Coach Nasby's done just an amazing job with not only continuing on the program after Coach Stratton, but the facilities at Metter Park. And I know you play a role in that with your current job and helping him get some people involved. And, Brian Majors with Mark Worley Field and just all kinds of things. Were you guys thinking about that? You think Saturday when you're sitting there and kind of look around and maybe have a little bit of a feeling of pride that, hey, we kind of helped build this?
Yeah, absolutely. Nasby kind of started it, and, the building bricks, brick by brick, and for everyone that'll be there on Saturday to say that we were the very first brick is very special. And the university does a really good job of recognizing that. And to give us our day this Saturday, I think a lot of alumni are going to meet again, maybe this fall or next spring, to kind of do something very similar. But it's going to be a pretty special environment. And hats off to Scott for keeping Metter improved. It could have gone a couple different ways. They were playing out at Price Cutter or Old Duck Stadium, but it just feels right for it to come back to Metter and to see the turf and to see Metter get a lot of love, that old historic stadium. It just feels right that field gets a lot of play right now. And And everyone has to give a hats off to Scott, who was there at the very beginning and who has devoted over 20 years to that program. It's going to be really, really good experience this Saturday, Scott.
Harry, if we went out to Metter Saturday after the game, could you get Tony out even now or not?
No, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, I haven't even lost a step. Or a mile per hour. Are you still
playing Harry in grip and rip, or are you just kind of the official marketing arm?
No, more than just the marketing arm. Still getting out there. I've got 3 championships under my belt in 5 years, and we're just going to keep it rolling. And it's great because, when we were younger, you couldn't do the champagne burst. You couldn't do all that stuff. I was too young when I started winning all that stuff. So now I really can. We can pop the champagne and we can take part in it. And so Tony's made something special with that league. But yeah, he doesn't want to face me.
No, I don't. I would probably lose another oblique if I got the opportunity to swing at his lazy little curveball.
If anything, afterwards, it's always full bath with ice bath just to like every game. I look over at the 22-year-olds playing in Tony's league, and they're like, afterwards, they're like all going to do stuff, and I'm like limping my way to the car. So I tell people at work at Associated on Monday, like, I either have a good limp or a bad limp. It just depends on if we won or lost. So
there you go.
Harry's one of the stronger guys in the league, that's for sure.
Oh, good. Well, guys, enjoyed it. See you out there. I hope to make it by Saturday, but it should be a special day. And thanks for the memories. I mean, it's something that when I think of Drury, I think of, that 2007 season and Coach Hesser's basketball national championship and, all the great Lady Panther teams and what Brian Reynolds did in swimming. And it's just, it's a special place, and it really was back when you guys were there. So thank you for that as well.
Yeah, well, thanks for capturing a lot of those memories, Scott. We couldn't have done it without you. Like I said, Tony's got one on his wall behind him, and mine is right over there. And I stare at it all the time and think about the glory days for sure.
Very good. Yeah. Guys, thanks. Enjoy the moment, and hopefully we'll see you this weekend, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
You betcha. Tony Lewis and Harrison Waters, 2 of the stars on the Drury 2007 baseball team, the 20th anniversary of one of the truly great accomplishments in sports, a first-year program going out and winning the conference tournament, finishing 33-24, going to the NCAA Division II regionals in Akron, Ohio, going 2-2 there, winning 2 games. And they're right. They were a player or 2 away from maybe getting to a College World Series in that first year. So big thanks to those guys, and thanks for those memories as well. Also, big thank you to our sponsors. Of course, Thompson Sales, located at 1555 East Independence in South Springfield. Thompson Sales, been in business since 1919. They're your home for the largest selection of Cadillac, Buick, and GMC cars and trucks. They've got new and used, and they've got a great service department to take care of your vehicles from start to finish. A body shop, an oil change area. The service is awesome. Go see the guys at Thompson's. I've been a customer since the 1980s. And I go back because they do treat you like family. The Thompson boys have been dealing since 1919. Also, thanks to Colton Steakhouse of Springfield, located 2020 East Independence, just down the street from Thompson's. Great place to grab lunch or dinner, have a burger, a steak, the barbecue. You've got the wonderful hot rolls and the fresh peanuts, too. It's all good at Colton's. Go see owner Thomas Orr and his staff there at Colton Steakhouse, 2020 East Independence in Springfield. And finally, Deadeye Gun in Sparta. Check out their store location at 7483 Main Street right there in Sparta. Can't miss it. You can also go to their website, deadeyegunsupply.com. Check out their selection of pistols, rifles, ammunition, the latest in technology for your next hunt. It's all there at Deadeye Gun in Sparta. Big thanks to Jonathan and the folks at Deadeye for their support as well. That's going to do it for this week's edition. Again, thanks to Harrison Waters and Tony Lewis for their time, and we will see you next week on Around the Ozark Sports Scene.